Thank you for watching this video. Please remember, like and subscribe. And join my Patreon if you want to help to support the channels. The link is always in the description. And thank you once again for choosing to watch this video. To all my fans and my haters, enjoy. Let's do this. Oh, by the way, while Vegeta's over there self-flagellating, we're gonna watch a debate about its masturbation. Oh yes. Oh no. All right, let's go. Oh god, let's go. I watched part of this debate, and it was decent.
Jerking off, I imagine.
Oh god, let's go.
I was jerking off immoral.
Do you have any sense of what morality is? I mean, can you give?
If you did, then you would be able to answer me. Well, the rationality is, I want to jerk off, and then you jerk off. I think that's perfectly in line with the mechanisms, the faculties of reason given to me by God.
Yes, we're doing this. Let's go.
I know you do, and that's why I say your mind is darkened. Of course you do.
What, isn't that rational?
No, it's not rational.
Give the rational argument for the give the rational argument for the opposite. Why shouldn't I jerk off?
Oh god.
We're debating whether or not porn is a net negative for society, and we're starting right now with Dr. Jones's opening statement. Thanks so much for being with us, Dr. Jones. The floor is all yours.
This is going to be amazing.
Thank you for
amazing.
It's a pleasure to be here. This is an important topic. It's gotten submerged lately because of other issues, but it's still out there. But in order to discuss it, I think we have to deal with it in an actual concrete form, which...
Wait. So what has beating your meat been something that is like very bad? Like what the fuck? It is an important topic because if you beat your meat, then you're gonna destroy the civilization, the fabric of civilization. All right, let's go.
By which I mean the historical reality of it, as opposed to some type of platonic notion of
the historic reality. Okay. If you don't know what onarism is, this is what a lot of people take from onarism. They think that because Onan spilled his seed on the floor, that God killed him. No, he was supposed to impregnate his brother's wife, and like he didn't want to do that, but he didn't mind fucking his brother's wife, you know, because she was a widow. And no, he just pulled out. That is something completely different from just beating your meat. And if it's spilling out on the floor, then you're not doing it right. Let's go.
What it is ideally. So to begin that discussion, I'd like to talk about an incident that I've talked about before. In March of 2002. Invaded Ramallah, part of the intifada that was going on at that time, and took over the city, which was normal, and then they did something that was a little bit out of the ordinary. They took over the TV stations, and after they took over the TV stations, they started broadcasting pornography. Now,
Wait. Now, why would invading Israeli army broadcast pornography to a highly religious fucking audience of Muslims who would have thought it would be offensive? Why would they do that? Would it be for psychological warfare, or to be to control them? Let's see what it is.
Was the only way that the Palestinians had to have contact with the outside world. They could not go outside. There were snipers stationed on the hospital there. They would have been shot if they'd gone outside. And the only way they could access is through television, and they're broadcasting pornography. Now, a lot of people were puzzled by this, and including a lot of the Palestinians. Why would they want to do this? Now, I'm saying that from the perspective...
To demoralize them! To demoralize! Spit as a quitters. Yes! Yes! Oh Oh God. Okay. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. But to demoralize them. That's the reason why they did the shit. To demoralize them. Fuck. Why is that so hard to believe? If they are so caught up with porn and how, oh my God, there's porn on the TV as you are, that you are frozen in place, that are locked in place over the porn idea, of course it was for demoralization. But this motherfucker say to control them. The fuck?
Of America, the American empire, there is only one explanation for pornography, and that is freedom. I can cite two examples that were important in this regard. In the early 90s, when Clinton was in the White House and where they were debating the Communications Decency Act, Hollywood produced two films. One was called Boogie Nights. One was called The People versus Larry Flint. Both of them were pro-pornography pieces of propaganda. And
wait, like, what? That... It's nothing wrong with porn if it's produced ethically and without harming people. It's nothing wrong with porn. It's just naked people, like, fuck. Like, and then, like, you get the people that be like, oh, porn. People try to learn how to how to have sex from porn, and it's just like, no other, like, you don't... I don't watch a Marvel superhero teach me how to be fucking moral. I don't watch a Marvel superhero movie teaching me how to be fucking moral. I don't watch a Marvel superhero movie to teach me how to fucking to swing up motherfucking buildings. And yeah, of course they're not always naked, but like, no other form of media tries to teach me real life. It's just media. But, like, you see this shit and it's crazy. But let's go.
The gist of it came in the Larry Flint film, where he said, basically, unless I'm free to promote pornography, no one's free. Now... True!
Fucking true. That is so fucking true. If you can't promote pornography, if it's something especially dirty about seeing naked people, then you have a fucking issue, dog. Like, how, like... Then you have a sex averse issue. But let's go.
This it's a standard explanation, but then how does it apply to what happened in Ramallah? In order to apply it to Ramallah, we have to think that the Israelis are trying to bring freedom to the Palestinians.
No, you oh God. Okay. You cannot apply you can't apply the reason for one situation to every situation. This is what I hate about, like, that cop is definitely dead. Those cops in there should have been dead. But you cannot sit back and say that, well, if it's this reason here, it has to be that reason there. That's not how shit works. But, like, God, okay. A lot of times, you have to think about the situation as it actually appears. You can have an overall encompassing belief about a situation, but sometimes there's things called nuance and, exceptions to rules. That happens sometimes. But, like, this fucker just can't see that. Yeah, Spider-Man has to hold back his strength.
That doesn't make any sense. You don't conquer people with an army to bring freedom to them. It's the exact opposite. They're trying to control them. They're trying to control the Palestinians, and pornography is a form of control, a sophisticated form of control. Now,
how? Wait, how is it a sense of control? Like, I don't get that part. How is porn a sense of control? Okay, granted, you're always gonna have one hand busy, but like, how is porn a sense of control? I'm lost at that one.
We explain this. Well, we can't explain it from contemporary sources. We have to go back farther, actually back to Gaza.
Now, I want you guys to hear this shit. I want you to understand the shit that he's about to say. Yes, this is going to be... He's going to stretch more than fucking the webbing that I'm shooting these motherfuckers with. He's going to stretch more than motherfucking Kamala Khan. He's going to stretch more than Mr. fucking Fantastic, since I'm keeping it as a Marvel thing. He's going to stretch. Watch this shit.
Back to the Bible, there's an account in the Bible of Samson. Samson was the mightiest warrior that Israel had. At that time, no one could defeat him in battle, but he had a weakness, and his weakness was lust. And so they sent their agent Delilah to seduce him, and Samson ended up eyeless in Gaza, grinding at the mill with slaves.
Yes, he did that. He said that the issue with porn goes all the way back to Samson. Yes, fucking yes. Yes, fuck. Yes, he says the issue of porn goes all the way back to Samson. And to be very honest, Samson was grinding, but it wasn't at a mill. He wasn't grinding at a mill. He was definitely grinding, but it wasn't at a mill. He was putting in that work. He was putting in that back work. But yeah, he was definitely grinding. But let's continue. This gameplay is a little bit different with the PS5 version than the PS4 version. Let's go.
That's John Milton's term for it. Eyeless in Gaza, grinding at the mill to the slaves, because after she cut off his hair, Delilah gouged out his eyes. Now, there is a profound truth in this image, a profound truth in this biblical story, because...
Wait, it's not real. Samson was one of those motherfuckers who was an archetype of the strong man and had faults. I mean, like, if Samson was real, Hercules is real. If Samson is real, Gilgamesh is real. Like, really? Really? Like, if you're really gonna do this, if you're really gonna fucking do this, this opening scene is actually pretty good. But let's go.
St. Thomas Aquinas would say about over a thousand years later,
The Insomniac Syndrome.
makes you blind. Lust divides the will, and it darkens the intellect. It makes you blind.
How many of these people were just closeted and they just didn't like sex because they thought they was gonna have the wrong type of sex? Like, for real. For real. Like, I'm just saying, like, how many of these people were just closeted and just thought they was gonna have the wrong type of sex, so they didn't want to have sex at all?
Blind. And now I think we're starting to see some sense of why the Israelis broadcast pornography. They did it because a blind enemy is an enemy that's easily conquered.
So, for some 2,000 years later, they came up with some other reason of why they broadcast porn. It couldn't be just because they wanted to demoralize the Palestinians by sending them into shock and awe, saying like, "Why are you showing porn? No, God, they're like, for real." It's just got to be, oh no, they wanted to control them. Like, the fuck? Let's go.
If the Palestinians could be focused on their passions as opposed to their oppression, they would be easily ruled, and easily conquered, and easily ruled. That's the principle here behind pornography. Nothing has changed since the time that Samson and Delilah got involved in this type of thing.
I would say a lot has changed.
19.
I would say a lot has
The entire
changed.
generation, the generation of the 20-year-olds and the 30-year-olds that had been basically raised on pornography, and they realized that they were slaves. They realized it. They knew it. They knew it.
Wait, I'm not a slave to porn. I'm not a slave to porn. I'm not. This guy's a case study of why you should jerk off more. True. Like, man, maybe you need to bust one out so he can relax a little bit. Oh god damn it. Oh man. Fuck. Oh god.
There was something wrong, and so they organized something called No Fap November, which was basically a
He's taking credit.
And the activity that pornography was supposed to facilitate. They did this on their own. It was spontaneous. I didn't organize it, but I did have, I think, something to do with it because I had written a book 25 years before that time called Libido Dominandi, Sexual Liberation.
Wait, he's taking credit for No Fap November because he was the one who wrote a book 25 years before that. Oh God! He takes credit for No Fap November. Like, how fucking self-absorbed does he? Like, he doesn't need to beat off because he self-masturbates himself with his words. Hello, what the fuck? Oh God, damn it! He doesn't need to beat off because he self-flagellates himself all the fucking time.
Political control. And I realized that with the internet now, I could get on and simply say sexual liberation is a form of political control, and people would understand what I'm talking about because they were living it. That was the experience that they had lived. They were living that experience right now. They knew they were slaves to their own passions. They knew that their whole generation had been, in a sense, sidelined by pornography and student loan debt. And that they
wait. It's pornography and student loan debt. Like, y'all have to, really, pornography and student loan debt. Wow. That is a combination. Like, we jerking in and plus we broke. Like the fuck. This is what I said. Oh no, I have to do a reaction to this motherfucker because of this shit right here. Pornography and student loan debt. Wait. How does porn have anything to do with student loan debt? Oh God. Maybe because people can't live their lives because they're entrapped with debt and they don't have the same amount of fucking economic freedom that their parents did. Maybe that's why they beating off so much, because they used to be able to have relationships and now they're stuck in their parents' basement beating it off to Pornhub. Like, what the fuck? Alright, let's go.
couldn't form their lives. They couldn't start their lives. I mean, by starting your life, I mean starting your life as an adult, which meant getting married and having children. And so the protest broke out. It got some publicity.
Yes. Okay. Like, fuck. Okay. Like, the porn was a weird turn, but like maybe it's because a lot of people are just drowning in debt. But all right, let's go.
And at this point, Rolling Stone got a hold of it, and they did an article on this, and they said that these people were basically anti-Semites, the ultimate insult. Yes.
A lot of people who are talking about No Nut November are anti-Semitic. They are. Like, no bullshit. Like, I will say no bullshit, but no bullshit is literally like a lot of these guys that's promoting this, sex bad and porn bad, they are anti-Semitic. They are, like, for real. Like, they are people who have racist fucking beliefs. And it's just like, but I guess. All right, let's go.
Conversation stopper. That's where it stopped in 2019. It's been superseded by other things like the COVID pandemic and all the other type of stuff, but it hasn't gone away, and it's not going to go away because it's being used to cripple this generation. And the only way they're going to break out of that bondage is by understand what happened to them.
What happened is fucking boomers like you want to keep motherfucking control of your fucking assets. Y'all are selfish and greedy as shit, and then are deeply fucking moralizing to about shit and want to tell people that you're wrong because you don't do shit like we do, and you don't want to fucking work, even though the same job opportunities aren't there like y'all had. He said bondage.
You bet. Thank you very much, Dr. Jones, for that opening statement. And I want to let you know, folks, if it's your first time here, Modern Day Debate is a neutral platform hosting debates on science, religion, and politics. We hope you feel welcome, whether you be politically left, politically right, you name it. We're glad you're here. And with that, we're going to kick it over to Vaush for his opening.
Okay, so Modern Day Debates, when it first started, it had a little bit more, and I don't want to talk too bad about it, but it had a little bit more respectability. But when it started allowing Nazis to debate if Nazism is good, a lot of people kind of went like, yo, like, yeah, that it was kind of, it kind of lost some of its appeal. But let's go.
Statement as well. Thanks, Vaush. The floor is all yours.
Thank you. I was ready for a few approaches, not that one though. So a couple of pointers here. Whenever you're discussing whether or not something is harmful, you have to compare the harm done to the harm done through its absence. And a society without porn, if one were to somehow legislate that, would require a unprecedented degree of censorship.
Now, this is true. Like, this is what I don't get about people who's like, oh yeah, we want small government, but we want to control women's uterus. Like, we want to make sure every woman has a child. Like, the fuck? Like, they don't get the hypocrisy that they're talking about. But let's go.
On essentially every level of media production that would be incomparably harmful compared to any imaginable downside of allowing for its existence now. But that's like the boring, rational, utilitarian argument. Let's go over the fun things that you said. I think the IDF broadcasted porn because they considered it disrespectful to broadcast it to a bunch of Muslims.
What?
I think they could have brought...
What? It's almost as if they were trying to be disrespectful. But let's go.
Broadcasted Britney Spears, and it probably would have also done basically the same thing. I don't really think it was about enslavement. I just think it was about putting something obscene up there. I mean, they could have just like sworn a bunch, and and that would have had, I think, the same effect. And with regards to sexual liberation equals political control, no. Essentially, every single sexual and gender minority in history has found that sexual liberation equals the opposite of political control. After all, if that was really the case, you would see that all these repressive regimes that are homophobic or dislike lesbian people or trans people or whatever would allow them full expression of their sexual desires, because then they would be able to control them through that.
So, what this guy's point was the fact that, oh, when you let people be whatever they want sexually, then you can control them better. Now, can you sell more shit to them, like rainbow capitalism? Yes, of course. Of course, because marketing. And is that a sense of control? Yeah, of course, it's a sense of control. But to say that, no, the government gets to control people more? What the fuck? Have you just not watched history? Like, okay, yeah, this is the level of intellectualism on the fucking right wing. But let's go.
Obviously, that's not what happened. Homophobic societies repress homosexual tendencies, not the opposite. Transphobic societies repress trans tendencies, not the opposite. The idea that being sexually liberated means you're more susceptible to control. I have to go on the offense here. How exactly? You can go online and see tits. I fail to see how this makes me more with regards to state control. If anything, it seems like the people most averse to internet pornography are the ones most doggedly in favor of government authoritarianism, because there's definitely a pretty heavy overlap between authoritarianism and social conservatism. So I guess, I don't know, you convince me as one of these 20 to 30-year-olds whose life is ruled by porn. I mean, proselytize. Why? What?
Now, cool. This is actually interesting. This is actually interesting. Let's hear this. Let's hear this, shall we?
Harm is done. If I were to legislate, what could you say to me to convince me of the necessity of purging all media of, I don't even know how you draw the line of what pornography is, but, you know, we're talking about a huge undertaking here. I mean, I could ramble about how pornography is fun, but, you know, we all know that. That's kind of...
Porn is really fun. Porn is exceptionally fun. Porn is fucking fun. But let's go.
Kind of intuitively sensible. You need to convince me, though. Why? Anecdotes about Samson aren't... don't do it. People just do No Nut November because it's fun to see if you can. You know, that's not even a porn thing. No Nut November, even if porn didn't exist, would be rough. You know, it's not like people only started jerking off when porn happened. That's you know, they were probably doing their Roman, you know, No Nut Novemberuses back in the day. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Oh, God.
Thanks for that opening statement, and we're going to jump into open conversation.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. I can already tell right now. This is going to be fun. This is going to be hilariously fun. Let's go.
Want to let you know, folks, we're absolutely thrilled for the first ever Modern Day Debate Conference this weekend. DebateCon is going to be huge, live and in person in Dallas, Texas. As an example of one of the debates, bottom right of your screen, Actual Justice Warrior and Destiny collide for the first time in person.
Yeah, see, this is the shit that I'm talking about. Actual Justice Warrior is a fucking Nazi. He's a fucking Nazi. Like literally, he's a fucking Nazi. But let's go.
And talking about COVID. So you don't want to miss that one. Links in the description, and hit that subscribe button, as a lot of those debates are going to be streamed live during the conference.
And like, what are you gonna say? Like, COVID isn't that bad now because like people are getting over it and shit like that. Whereas 5 million people have died from COVID since it started. Like, what are you gonna say? Like, these fucking conservatives, they wait till shit gets better, and then they say, "Oh no, it's gonna be it wasn't as bad as people say it was." No, it was actually fucking just as bad. People thought that probably 1 to 3 million people were gonna die in the U.S. alone, and wow, what happened? Almost 1 million people, and that's not counting the people who may have died from COVID that were gone unnoticed because we have a big homelessness problem, we have a big ignoring the poor problem. But, reasons, right? Reasons, right? Fuck out of here. Yeah, and it is a kink. So, edging is a thing, and it's fun. Anyway, let's go.
With that, thank you very much, gentlemen. The floor is all yours for open conversation.
So it's my job to convince you?
Yes! Yes, it's your job to convince somebody that somebody needs not to jag it off. Like, the fuck? Yes, it's your job. It is your job, motherfucker. You just can't say, well, this is bad and just leave it at that. No, it's your job to convince somebody. That is what you're supposed to do. That's what you're here to fucking do. That's what's going on. If you can't do that, then you need to look at your argument. But let's go.
I probably can't do that because your mind is so darkened by watching porn that you can't understand a rational argument. But the point here is that I'm trying to...
Wait, so I can't convince you. I can't give a good argument because you're just already lost. Like, really? This is the shit. This is what I hear from conservatives. This is what I hear from Christians. Like, oh, you just won't understand because you're not a Christian. Like, try me. Try me. It's a not wanting to actually try to explain your fucking point. Like, the shit is just crazy, man. Like, why would you... and then it's a good way for you to fucking dismiss somebody's point. It is a way that you can just say, oh, they're just too stupid to understand. This is shit that I hate about what left people do for conservatives. Like, oh, no, they're just too stupid, so we should just leave them in the dustpan of history. And it's just like, that's not what... That doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't. It's just an excuse for you to sit back on your morals like, haha, I'm right, and well, I shouldn't have to try because if they were smart, they would have my position already. This is the wrong way of trying to it dehumanizes people, and it makes you feel good because you just think, oh, they're dumb and they're wrong in this position. And maybe because I'm somebody that likes to fucking argue and prove my fucking point, maybe I have it a little bit more skewed to myself, but like, I'm not just going to expect somebody to think the way that I do. And that's what a lot of times, a lot of these conservatives or people on the left actually do. They just think, well, you know, I've come to this conclusion because I'm me, and like, it's like, no, that's not how shit works, man. That's not how shit works. But let's continue.
That I'm trying to make is that I didn't have to convince other people.
See, he even says it. He didn't have to convince other people. He didn't have to do the work. And that's what it is. He didn't have to do the work. So why should he have to try to on somebody that disagrees with him? And that's the problem. But let's go.
Came to this awareness on their own. This was completely spontaneous, and there's no explanation for this given the conventional explanation of what pornography is and what it does. People, once the pornography...
What does pornography do that's so fucking bad? What does it do that's so fucking bad? Like, what? All right, let's go.
Once these images were liberated, people should have lived happily ever after. That should have been the end of the story, and it wasn't. And I don't see that you provided any explanation of why it happened.
There's never an end to the story. I don't. There's never going to be an. If the threshold for something being socially beneficial is that it solves all human problems, then that's going to cut out pretty much everything to have ever existed.
Like, so you have to understand exactly what this motherfucker said. He said because humans still suffered after porn, porn is bad. Like, literally, because porn was made legal in the U.S. around the Larry Flint trial, and people still suffered. It was bad. That's like saying because slavery was abolished and black people still suffered, abolition was bad. That's like saying that because women had suffrage and women still suffered, it was bad. Like, that's the level of shit that this motherfucker is working on. But let's continue.
I just want to know what porn is doing to people that they're not getting in real life. I mean, porn is just when you film people fucking. I mean, I've been with people in real life. Like, what online is happening that is corrupting my brain in a manner distinct to what I can do in real life?
Well, the fact that you can't see a difference between porn and what happens in real life is a sign that you've become addicted to it.
I'm asking you, what...
Wait, and see, this is the shit that I'm talking about. It's no reason. It's just like, well, the fact that you can't see it lets you know that you really are addicted. Like, the fuck? Really? Really? The fact that I don't see your point lets me know that my mind is darkened? I don't want to explain myself. And you should just too stupid to know.
Difference is there? What new thing am I being subjected to?
One is real, and the other is an image. It's a flickering image on a screen that is a simulation of something real that, in a sense, violates the very nature of sexuality, which is private.
Like
it's
movies?
Intimate.
I've seen movies before.
Wait. It violates the nature of sexuality because sexuality is private. And when was sexuality, by definition, private? Like, when is sexuality, by definition, private? I'm confused with that one. I didn't know sexuality was just private. That's a new one to me. The nature of sexuality is private. That one's new. But let's continue.
We're talking about pornography, aren't we?
All movies are flickering images on a screen. I don't.
That's right.
So
that's right. Not all movies are pornographic movies, though. We're talking about pornographic movies.
Well, what makes that different? You can watch movies, and
because
sometimes they're naked.
It's a portrayal of sexual behavior. That's what makes it different. Sexual activity.
What's the issue with that?
Makes it different. The issue. What is the issue?
Yes, people should be allowed to fuck in the streets without going to trouble.
Argument here, right?
I am posing a rational argument, and your darkened mind is not able to comprehend it. Why is your darkened mind the criterion of reality here? I don't get this.
Enlighten me.
I'm willing to say,
like, all the questions have been, hey, what's so wrong with porn? What's wrong with porn? Answer that question for me. What's wrong with porn? But this fucker can't answer that question. If my mind is darkened, how is it darkened? What is making my mind darkened that porn is good to me? Like, what is it? And he can't answer the fucking question. The only thing that he can say is, oh, your mind is darkened, and that's it. Like, the fuck, dude? But let's continue.
this is not about me, but I get the sense you're saying it is about you. And that if I can't convince you,
Wait, he said this is not about him, but it is about. This is a guy no more than 5 minutes ago in this video, or 10 minutes ago in this video, said that I'm the creator of No Nut November from something from 20 years before it started. He was the person that says he was the creator of No Nut November 20 years before it started because he wrote a book. Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah, motherfucker.
then the argument fails.
I just want to know what the difference is. You have one movie in which everyone is wearing a shirt, and then you have another movie in which a lady isn't. What's the categorical? I mean, back in the day, humans were all walking around naked anyway, right? I mean, where does the harm come in?
Did he just say humans weren't walking around naked? Like, oh my god, he's really doing a thing. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Let's go.
No, people never walked around naked.
Didn't Adam and Eve?
But the point here is that there was a distinction which you simply can't understand anymore because your mind is darkened. So let's get.
Yeah, goes back to your mind is already darkened, so you won't even understand. Oh my god, like, this is a shit. Like, is this the argument? Is this what conservatives think wins arguments? Like, for real? I'm not even going to explain it to you, because if I explain it to you, it'd be wasted time because your mind is already darkened. Like, fuck, man. Fuck. Well, let's go.
Get historical here, okay? Instead of this kind of a priori wheel spinning, there was a whole battle over obscenity throughout the 20th century. It began basically as soon as Hollywood started making films. They started testing boundaries, breaking down the moral fiber, the boundaries that the people had established at that time as what decent people did.
Why did Hollywood do that?
All right, so this is gonna be some yikesy shit. So I'm warning you guys. Now. But those places aren't in the Western world or the Western society, so they don't exist, Vegeta. They don't exist because reasons. They don't exist. But let's go. I'm warning you now. This is some yikesy shit that this dude is about to say.
Because they wanted to make a quick buck, because it's much cheaper and easier to show naked women than it is to build the Colosseum in Rome.
Keep it real. Naked women and men. Naked women and men. Like, yeah. The reason why naked women had so much was make more money because at that time, because men had all the money. But women want to see naked dicks too. They do. They want to see it too. It's okay. Like women have sexuality, dog. It's not just, you can flick the bean too. It's okay. Women flick the bean all the fucking time. But, okay, let's go. Fuck, this motherfucker is just sad.
Women have Ben-Hur's chariot race.
I think they're different markets, but I don't think Hollywood produces porn. I think that's a different market.
You don't think Hollywood produces porn? Is that?
No, Hollywood doesn't produce porn. Dog, Hollywood doesn't produce porn. Oh God. Yeah, even some women want to see naked women. Like, Hollywood doesn't produce porn. Oh my God. Let's go.
a normative statement, or can I go on about the historical reality?
Do you mean like
Okay.
Hollywood, like studios, or just, or do you mean nebulously, like?
No, I mean like Hollywood studios. You obviously don't understand the history of Hollywood.
Yes, he is saying that the old 1930 movies where people are actually fully clothed and have some sort of suggestive ass motherfucking look that was producing porn. He is literally saying that. You know how they had the Ten Commandments and old girl was in the I guess the princess that like Moses was like showing more flesh than wearing a burqa. Yes, she was actually that was porn. Yes, but let's go.
There was a pre-production era. You can look up the books. Sin and Soft Focus is a book you can look up, and it's basically about the pre-code Hollywood. This is Hollywood in the 1920s. You got people like Mae West, Diamond Lil, and obviously anyone who is as jaded as you are, having watched pornography, is not going to think that these images are transgressive. But the people
What
then
happens
did.
in those movies that's transgressive?
You could show someone's ankle. You could have innuendo. You could have nude.
You can show somebody's ankle. oh God. You can show somebody's ankle. I am not bullshitting you. He's mad because you can see somebody's ankle. Like, why? Why? Why though? Like he's mad because you can see somebody's ankle. Oh no. You can see ankle? Ankle. Yes, you heard it the fuck right. You can see ankle. Oh God.
Nudity, like Tarzan, the Tarzan film with that German lady, I forget her name, but anyway, she's swimming naked in a pool.
I just don't understand what the issue with that is. Like, I'm naked underneath my clothing. Unless you're hiding a secret from me, you are too. I just don't understand. What about the depiction of nudity on a screen suddenly robs us of moral character?
These films were calculated to transgress social boundaries. They were calculated to do this. That's why they were created, and they created
this is just, he's just making an argument that we want people to like follow societal norms forever and never progress. Like, I'm surprised this motherfucker is literally on a computer because, you know, it's the whole idea of using a computer that to somebody in the 1930s, it would have been it would have been technological advances. Like, the fuck? Like, let's be honest, if it wasn't for porn, the internet wouldn't be what it is today. Oh God. Like, fuck. Humans should thank porn. We got the internet as good as it is. Oh God. Oh God.
I understand that. And they created outrage among the public. The public was demanding that government get involved and basically shut Hollywood down.
Yes, because they were fucking sticking to fucking muds like you. Yes, that's why. Because a vocal minority were mad because, ooh, I saw some titties. Like, the fuck? Oh shit. Oh no, titties. What a fucking nightmare.
Okay, so there was a kind of compromise. They had a guy, the postmaster, Mr. Hayes, he came in. This was a battle between Protestants, Catholics, and Jews. Okay,
Reason number 2 why I wanted to react to this video. Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? Now, mind you, remember he said in his opening statement the people that did No Nut November were labeled as anti-Semitic. It was a battle between Protestants, Catholics, and Jews. Yikes. Fucking yikes. Like, yeah, he said that shit. But let's go.
Protestant ruling class, the WASP elite, ran the country. They were the
Hold
guardians
on.
of the. Okay, the Protestant ruling class, the WASP elite, ran the country. They were the guardians of the moral order. The Jews had just come from Eastern Europe. They had stolen this technology. They were using it to corrupt the morals of the people, and the people were outraged.
Stolen what technology?
The film technology.
How did they?
This is just anti-Semitism just running around. Like, this, like, do you guys hear this shit? Like, really? He is going there. Fuck, he is going there. Wow. Okay.
They steal it.
That's a minor point. That's
I think
beside the point.
I think they just used it. Wait, actually, hold on.
No, wait
There's-
a minute. You're diverting me from the story here.
Well,
which
no,
is that there's
but I've been
outrage.
reminded.
No, you're right. It's extremely sus. It is horribly sus. Yes. And he said they're stealing technology to ruin the moral fiber. This is straight up Nazi ideology. Yes.
Of historical allegory. In this example, is Hollywood not Christ-like? Jesus Christ was transgressive in his time, was he not? And when he preached his word to his flock, he attracted from
He's just fucking with him right now. He's fucking with him right now just to fuck with him. But let's go.
Rome, the condemnation of the state. Transgression was the mechanism through which he, sacrificed himself to absolve humanity of sin.
You're using the word transgressive in an equivocal fashion that simply does not apply. Jesus Christ did not transgress the sensibilities of the people of his time. He went out of his way not to transgress those
He got
sensibilities.
crucified. I think he made a
That
few
wasn't
people
his-
angry.
He did. He made the Jews angry, and they crucified him. You're absolutely right.
Wait, hold on. The Jews were acting on behalf of Rome, and Rome did not like Jesus Christ.
Like, the anti-Semitism continues. Like, yeah, the Jews killed Christ. Like, the Romans killed Jesus. Like, let's be honest. The Romans killed Jesus. Even in the Bible, like, you think that he would have been crucified if the Romans didn't want that? No, like, the Romans killed Jesus. Like, wow, this is just so anti-Semitic. And, like, I just, wow. All right.
You know those Colosseums you're fond of, they fed Christians to the lions, right? You guys were the transgressors back then.
Are we talking about pornography?
We're talking about transgression.
Back to the 1920s, Hayes tried to rein them in, and he failed. Okay.
I see what you're talking about with the face. It's a little bit better on this version than the PS4 version. You get to flush the toilet. Can we turn on the water? I forgot to do this. All right, let's go.
He failed to rein Hollywood in. They continued to produce these transgressive films. The people continued to be outraged.
Transgression is good, is it not? It's Christ-like.
No. So the people were outraged.
Wait, what do you mean no? What's wrong with transgression? Shouldn't we always work to push the boundaries of society forward?
No.
Why not?
No.
Christ did.
No, that's not what.
Oh, God.
You're ignoring what I said.
Have you read the Bible, sir? He was quite subversive in his time. I'm not diverting you. No discussion on Christ is the diversion. Everything in the world but Christ is the diversion. A lot of people angry. He was the king of the Jews, and for his word, he was persecuted by Rome, as were many Christians afterwards. So I just don't understand. Like, again, I need to know, like, what is it about the naked body that's wrong to see on a screen? I've seen it in real life. It didn't hurt me. It was cool, actually.
Yes, that's precisely.
Like this shit is the craziest fucking thing. Like, oh my God. This shit is the craziest shit. Like, if you guys are listening to this shit, like this, like my man is just so anti-Semitic. It's unfucking believable. This man is so anti-Semitic. It's unfucking believable. And then he doesn't even see it. And Vaush is just fucking with this dude. Like, he is literally just fucking with this dude because he just picked up on the anti-Semitism. And it's like, wait, like what? Like fucking what? Wait, let's go.
See what we're talking about, because people wear clothing for a reason. Okay, and here was Hollywood transgressing those behaviors, and everyone is outraged, and the government is not going to get involved. And so at this point, the Catholic Church got involved. Okay, and the Catholic Church created an institution called the Legion of Decency. The Legion of Decency organized a boycott of Hollywood films in Philadelphia, and Warner Brothers ended up losing $100,000 a week in the depths of the Depression at a time when they had gone into serious debt. Because they had to get into talking pictures and they had to buy that technology.
I mean, like, does he just have an issue with any films that may express any type of sexuality? Like, for real? Okay, sure, whatever, dude. Whatever. All right, let's go.
Porn industry is clearly doing pretty well now, so obviously there's been a bit of a bounce back. I just don't understand, because you have to know, unless you don't know at all, like, why is it wrong to have nudity on a screen? If you can see it in real life, and it's fine in real life, what about seeing it on a screen makes it less fine? What is the categorical difference there?
The categorical difference is that it's a film that is being produced for profit, exploiting people's weaknesses.
What about amateur porn? Like just two people, like a boyfriend and a girlfriend. They're both 25. They just film something, put it out there for free. What about that?
Yes, that's also transgressive, and it's a type of manipulation that could only
that shit looks decent.
Tolerated by the authorities who are running the internet.
Who's being manipulated?
All of the people in this country are being manipulated by this use of pornography, whether they like it or not.
How? Fuck! He still hasn't said how. Okay, let's go.
How? It's
whether they
just,
like it or not.
It's just there. You go online and you're like, I want to see people have sex, and then you type into Google.
It's not just there. It's not just there. There are people who actually imitate what they see.
Okay. So this goes back to my point. You should never learn how to fuck from porn. Manipulate that dick. Okay. Let's go.
Aspect of this. So if someone gets fired up by pornography and he goes out and rapes someone, there's a victim.
Whoa. Fuck no. This is that bullshit, man. Nobody decides to rape anybody off of porn. Oh my God. Porn is not something that literally causes sexual deviancy. Like, no. SA is something that has to do with a power dynamic. Like, for real. It is never about, sexual frustration is never about, sexual, like, being sexually aggressive. No. Like, the fuck? Wow. Okay.
Because he was allowed to view images that will influence his behavior.
But rape rates were higher.
First of all, there were rapes before porn. Like, there were rapes before porn. Like, do people not? Is this man really gonna say that? Okay, let's go.
All of these instances influence behavior one way or the other.
Rape was more common before pornography.
The question is, what type of manipulation of human passion is the government going to allow? That is the big question, because nothing ever happens without government approval. And that's precisely the crisis that they reached in the 1930s, and the Catholic Church stepped in and basically made a deal with Hollywood. Okay, if you continue to do this, okay, we will then expand this boycott to every major city in the country, all of which have large Catholic populations.
I don't understand what this history lesson has to do with the morality of the issue. You just keep talking about like I won porn is legal and it's everywhere. So like, let's talk about the morality. I don't know why we're talking about like in the 1930s people were afraid of bare ankles. Also, rape was like way more common back like in the Middle Ages and stuff before pornography was prevalent.
Exactly.
Anything. It could be because of porn.
You're making statements that have no basis in reality.
Wait, do you think rape is more common
like
now than
what
1496
are the
France?
statistics? What are the statistics?
Wow.
Ridiculous. The statistics.
So it doesn't fit his narrative, and so this is ridiculous. I like what? Yeah. Like it's not like animals in nature don't bad touch each other. Like for real. For real though. But let's continue.
Of rape in the Middle Ages. They don't have any statistics about rape in the Middle Ages.
Yeah,
So it's a preposterous claim.
Wow! He really doesn't know! Oh, shit! He really doesn't know! He really thinks that statistics started in, like, a later time. Okay, wow.
We also have ones from the early 20th century before pornography was widely accessible. I mean, it's really internet pornography that we're mostly, because that's when it really popped off, right? And you can actually see, if you just want to look at modern research, rates of rape have generally gone down, even as porn consumption has skyrocketed. So I don't think there's an association.
And how can I argue with modern research?
Well, if the evidence disagrees with you, you can't pretend it's the opposite.
Just to be sure there's not too much interrupting, we might have to go into the 3-minute segments that we've done in the past, just to be sure.
Oh, it's fun though. Okay, I'll let him go.
Oh, wow.
At this point, Hollywood agreed to something called the Production Code, which banned nudity, banned ridicule of the clergy, et cetera, et cetera. Okay.
So his thing was that Hollywood banned nudity and ridicule of the clergy. Oh, wow. Hey, I'll be right back, guys. Give me a second. Oh, guys. This motherfucker just wants a theocratic society. That's all. That's the fucking problem. He said, you can't talk bad about the clergy. The fuck? Give a fuck. Talk bad about who the fuck I want to. That's how that shit works out. But let's continue.
Okay, the Catholics brought Hollywood under control. The guy who was involved in this was named Joe Breen. He said people like this, meaning the Jews in Hollywood, should not
again
have
the anti-Semitic
what people see
shit
on the screens. And he was right. we have a similar situation now with the new technology of our era, namely the internet, which is it's a utility. These people didn't create it, but there are people who are simply banning anyone that they disagree with because they own it. It's very similar to what was happening in Hollywood at this time.
Who's getting banned?
Many people are getting banned
By who?
on the internet. This is really sophomore. You know.
Wait, that's not sophomore.
This is
That's
really,
a very
this
clear.
is
Wait, hold on. Wait, really quickly, because I've let you go. Being banned for being anti-Semitic has nothing to do with the porn industry. Okay, Twitter has a TOS. That's not my fault. That's not the Jews' fault. That's your fault. Look, if we're talking about the morality of pornography, you've still maybe it's your brain that's been darkened, and if you saw a few more pairs of tits, you would be able to understand. How is it harmful to see nudity on a screen? I need to, because this is literally like the topic of the discussion. I need to know. So you say that people can imitate behavior they see in porn. So when I look at porn, you got me. I see people having sex.
Oh, God.
I have had sex. So you got me on that one. I think people were doing that before porn. In terms of like violent sexual behavior, like rape, rates have gone down. We have a chart up right now. I mean, you don't care because I imagine if the evidence disagrees with you, it'll be from them. But rape rates have not increased with porn. So just where is the harm? Like how? Like, because you do need to convince me. Even on the no-fap forums, they're telling themselves stories about how.
What is no-fap for? What were they involved in? What were these guys involved in when they're watching pornography?
Jerking off, I imagine.
Oh, God.
That's immoral.
How?
Do you have any sense of what morality is? I mean, can you give,
if you did, then you would be able to answer me.
I will answer you. Okay, there's human sexuality is something that the human being has to regulate according to
How?
Okay.
How?
Salmon, where electrical chemical reactions go off, and he turns around and swims upstream. He has to subject human sexuality to reason, to rationality.
What reason?
Okay.
Well, the rationality is I want to jerk off. And then
Yes!
I think that's perfectly in line with the mechanisms, the faculties of reason given to me by God.
I know you do. I know you do, and that's why I say your mind is darkened. Of course you do.
What, isn't that
of course
rational?
You do. No, it's not rational.
Give the rational argument for the, we'll give the rational argument for the opposite. Why shouldn't I jerk off?
Okay, because human sexuality has an end. You probably don't know this, but it actually leads to procreation, to the creation of other human beings.
I can come.
Wait, what? What? Okay, yeah, sure.
Multiple times. I'm not like done after one. Like next week, if I'm with like a girl, I'll still be able to. I'm not in any way impeding the process.
No, you are impeding the process because you're acting in a way that is contrary to the rationality of the sexual act. Sexual act is geared toward procreation.
No!
Toward interaction with the opposite sex toward procreation. Okay,
Why?
if procreation takes place. If procreation takes place, a child comes out of that union, and that child needs to be taken care of. So this has to, the rationality of the sexual act, first of all, explains what its goal is, namely the unity of man and woman leading to procreation.
Why is that the goal?
And then
What if I just want to jerk off? Like you keep saying, because they're
not only
things.
did you want to jerk off, but it's clear.
So, why is it that these motherfuckers are always the ones that, I don't know, they always have this crazy ass look of sexuality, like, only reason why I fuck my wife is to have kids. Other than that, I don't want to fuck her. Like, what the fuck, man? That has got to be the craziest fucking thing. Like, the only reason why I want to fuck is to make sure my wife has babies. No, it's stupid. It's fucking stupid. And you think that the only reason why, God, that's got to be a sad existence to think that the person that you are supposed to spend the rest of your life with, supposedly, the only reason why you have sex with them is to make sure that y'all have more views. Like, the fuck? But let's continue.
It's clear that that's the way you see
If
sexuality.
you jerk off, you can come without making a baby, and babies are really expensive and time-consuming. So, like, I feel like the ratio that, like, you should like 100 jerk-offs to one baby. Even that's, I think, too little. But, like, again, you keep saying like things are bad because they're bad. Why? What's wrong with? What if you just want to spend your whole life jerking off? Like, what if a person's like, this is what I want?
You will frustrate the purpose of sexuality. And
Wait, what?
What you're doing is exactly the trap that your generation fell into.
You know, humans weren't.
Exactly. Like, Vegeta said it right. It's like, so people who can't have kids shouldn't experience sex. Like, what the fuck is that? Well, I'm sorry, sir. You can't. You know, you shooting blanks, so you shouldn't have kids. Or I'm sorry, ma'am, you have fertility issues. Well, no sex for you. The fuck? if we want to use the whole, how many times in the Bible did God close off a woman's womb? Like the fuck? Like for real? This is the bullshit that they actually believe.
You're all sitting
on them.
Just to be sure that there's no interruption, what I'm going to do is just to answer that question. We're going to give you 2 minutes to respond, Dr. Jones, and then we'll come back to you, Vaush, for 2 minutes as well. We're just going to
look, we're really going to have to stop this constant interruption, and so what I'm trying to say here is that the end of sexuality is union with a member of the opposite sex, leading to procreation.
No,
it's obvious from the act.
No,
that's what the act is. That's what the act does. You can pervert that act, okay, but then you're not acting rationally, and you're not going to end up with the ends that the act has to achieve.
These are the same motherfuckers that don't recognize homosexuality happens in with other animals. These are the same motherfuckers who don't actually recognize that. I'm inside. Here, probably grab some tweezers and jerk yourself off. Anyway, let's go.
If we're following through, the purpose of hearing is to listen to people near you, so headphones are a corruption of that rational process. Your skin clothes you, so wearing clothes is a corruption of that. Well, hold on, Mr. Jones. Is a corruption of that natural process. I have no doubt at your ripe old age that you've benefited from some manner of medical technology, which is, again, a corruption of humans' natural process. See, if we want to do this, if we want to go back to natural processes, I would be the young, strong hunter-gatherer, and you would be dead because you're twice my age. We both rely on deviations from humans' natural role in the civilization.
Oh, God.
You don't even have to deviate. I'm pretty sure there are animals other than humans who masturbate. So I just need to know why. You always refer to some nebulous purpose. I'm not religious, though I seem to have read the Bible more than you. What harm is done if you jerk off? If anything, it helps you because it lowers your risk of prostate cancer, and if you nut somebody later, you have fresh sperm. So, I mean, aren't you, it's like clearing the gutters, right? I mean, it's just, where is the harm? I need to know.
Yes, I've said this at the very beginning. An entire generation has been sidelined by masturbation and pornography because they can't relate to the opposite sex, and they are not getting married, they are not forming families, and they are not having children. There's the harm.
But it's economic concerns for that shit, though. But it's seriously economic concerns for that. But yeah, sure, let's go.
And by the way, ear sets help your hearing. They don't inhibit your hearing.
Jerking off helps my dick. And your prostate. That's medical science. Prostate cancer lately because masturbation is getting more common. Probably because of porn. So, if anything, we're saving lives, really.
And in the process, an entire generation simply is not forming families. They are not moving into the future. They're living in their mother's basement, weighed down with a vicious habit that people like you enable by promoting pornography.
I think the problem...
All right. Waiting for... Yeah, sure. Let's go.
With what you're describing right now is mostly economic alienation that could be addressed with Marxist economic theories. Alienation from work, income inequality. Don't get me wrong, I agree that we have a problem with people having a difficult time getting their start in life, but I think that has way more to do with a flatlining median wage, low unionization, difficult job opportunities, student debt. I don't think it has anything to do with masturbation. Don't get me wrong, there are people who have like an unhealthy fixation on porn, but that's the case with literally everything in existence, right? I mean, if you ban something because some people have a toxic relationship with it, you would ban effectively everything. Basically
food.
Everything. I mean, there's got to be, people with unhealthy relationships. Just about every modern commodity and service.
Yeah, exactly.
We can do better than that, right? Like, we don't have to essentialize these problems. If you want to fix the issues of people not going out there and making families or whatever, I don't think porn. If anything, like looking at porn is telling people how to do it, right?
It's telling you how not to do it. It leads to isolation. And the other thing that I've already talked about in venues is
I wouldn't mind watching porn with somebody, like I wouldn't mind watching porn with a young lady, but that's just me, right? Let's go.
Usury, it's debt. That's the other problem that is facing your generation. They are loaded down with student loan debt. That, combined with addiction to pornography, has produced an absolutely toxic situation in which they cannot.
I know why he keeps mentioning debt. And I figured it out. He wants you to be married young and not go to college or not try to better yourself for college. He wants you to be be married young, burdened down with that burden, and be stupid. Exactly.
Form families, and that is the harm that
So we should
results.
address capitalism, right?
I do address capitalism. I wrote a book called Barren Metal, A History of Capitalism as the Conflict Between Labor and Usury. But I thought we were talking about pornography.
This is labor and usury. Oh my God. He is so anti-Semitic. This man is so anti-Semitic. He is literally anti-Semitic. But let's go.
Back to the Jews with you, doesn't it? Mate, Jews didn't invent capitalism, okay? Modern-day laissez-faire capitalism was a product of a number of post-Enlightenment philosophies that developed during the turn of the 18th century. This is not... listen, if your issues with Jews, you can just say Jews, all right? You don't have to go, like modern worker versus usury. Like, come on. Interest rates right now are, like, a problem, but that's hardly the nature of the beast. You could, in fact, have like essentially, in fact, no, for the past 20 years, we've had a historically low federal interest rates on loans, and it still hasn't fixed the problem. If anything, the problem's gotten worse over that time. Usury isn't the issue here. Income inequality is.
Oh my God.
Usury, I mean, you might as well be talking about like happy merchants around every street corner offering people $5 if they sell their souls to them. I mean, you know, we're talking about a very edge case, dishonest framing of
exactly
problems.
If you want to have a debate about usury, I'd be happy to come on and debate that too. As I said, I wrote a book about the conflict between labor and usury, and usury has a big role to play in creating a whole generation that are unable to start families. But
like, the fact that he uses the term usury, which was a sin for edge case, was a sin that if you borrow money from somebody, or if you lend somebody money, you have to pay them back. And good Catholics didn't do that, but they forced Jewish people into that form of banking because, you know, the king needed to make money, and it's one of the reasons why, like, you'll see those that you have the Nazi talking point of Jewish people control banking, which is patently false. They were forced into it due to the king not wanting to look bad. So easy. We blame it on this particular type of people. And this is just Nazi shit, man. This is just Nazi talking points 101. And he keeps bringing this shit up. Like, wow. The anti-Semitism is just fucking horrible. It's horrible. And I don't know how, like, and this is shit that I'm talking about, like, this is the problem that I would have with modern day debates, because they're platforming this shit, and it's just like, at this point, I'm like, yo, like, you doing anti-Semitism, dog. You doing anti-Semitism. But yeah, let's get back.
About the pornography aspect of it, which is also a very serious problem, which leads to isolation and an inability to form lasting, fertile relationships with members of the opposite sex.
How does it affect fertility? You don't run out of sperm, you know. Like, it keeps.
This is. I feel as if I'm giving you, like, did you ever have sex ed as a kid? I feel as if I'm now. The fertility can only take place. You can only have fertilized the egg if the sperm makes contact with the female.
But
okay,
if you masturbate, you can still do that.
The
you can still do that. It's not one or the other.
What?
You can do both. Right, one after another if you want to. I mean, I'm young and strapping. I mean, eventually that'll go. But...
masturbation leads to isolation. The people who get engaged in this cannot relate effectively to members of the opposite sex.
Bullshit! I do it all the time. I was just on a date the other day. I just hung out with a young lady yesterday. That's bullshit. Okay.
They can't. Because masturbation isolates you in a world of fantasy.
What if you masturbate with another person? Like when you're in a relationship?
It's still masturbation.
Well, if you're masturbating with a chick, like, in the same room, you're probably going to have sex later, right? Like, I feel like that's a bonding experience. That probably makes it more likely you're going to have.
Well, I'm not surprised that you feel that way. Masturbation is still masturbation. It's not the same as sexual intercourse.
Well, but you would do that later. You could masturbate, then have sex later.
Okay, but we're still saying they're not the same thing. You're backing up what I'm saying by saying they're not the same thing.
They're not the same thing, but like this is like saying I'm trying to think of an analogy that highlights how dumb this is. I don't know if I can. It might be beyond me.
It may be.
It might be. You're right. You can masturbate and then like an hour later have sex with somebody. Like, I don't think doing one of them prevents you from doing the other one.
So but you do agree that they're two different things.
Well, yeah, but I don't think the first hurts the latter.
That's a great breakthrough. That we can agree on something like that. Okay, and I think that they have completely different effects on the human psyche.
How?
Union, the other leads to isolation, and the more you engage in masturbation. Now, how does this work? Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. It goes. We
how
with rat brains. Okay, and if you this is ridiculous. What do you mean? How does it work? It works because
I didn't actually say that.
Because the human mind is because the human psyche is what it is. That's why it works that way.
Okay, so wait.
I don't.
Like, for real, this motherfucker is just that fucking crazy. Oh, wow. Yeah, he didn't say it before. Like, he's literally saying foreplay is bad. Foreplay is bad. What the fuck?
You don't have to come up with an explanation of how it works, whatever that means. It's an empirical fact that it does work.
Where
that
can
way.
I find the empiricism of that fact? If
Go back to NoFap November. Go back to NoFap November.
What?
That was empirical. That was empirical proof that people were unhappy with this whole regimen of pornography and masturbation.
I did NoFap November,
which had been imposed on them.
But I did NoFap November. I just did it to shoot big ropes at the end. I didn't do it because I have a moral opposition to masturbation. It's just a challenge. I don't think that.
This isn't about you.
Yeah, this doesn't.
This isn't about you. You cannot constantly reduce what I'm saying to your particular circumstances. You can't do it.
Okay.
And if you try, first of all, this is a kind of narcissism on your part that everything has to be about you. But secondly, what you're really saying is you can't understand what I'm saying. I understand that.
So you're right. I'm not following. So it's 10 p.m. I have free time before I go to sleep. I have an hour of free time. I can either play online video games or I can masturbate. How is the latter option more isolating than the former option?
First of all, they are both isolating. Masturbation to pornography is even more isolating than just playing video games.
Oh God, he's going to video games now.
Internally, morally, in a way that video games don't. How?
Oh God.
How, like you're just saying that. Like how? In what way?
Have you ever heard of guilt?
I've heard of the concept.
Oh God.
You think it's a bogus concept?
It's a thing I think most higher animals are capable of experiencing. So I don't.
Oh God.
Do you think people experience guilt after they masturbate?
Some people do.
I think that guys sometimes do. Girls don't often, I think.
Okay, then why? Then you explain to me why that happens.
Because we've been socialized to think that way.
Orgasm. There's usually a come down from that feeling. But that's also the case during sex, not just during masturbation. Like I've certainly had times where having sex.
Wow. So like he is really using the thing of, well, people feel guilty sometimes after masturbating. Like for real. For real. He is really using the people feel guilty sometimes after masturbating, so masturbating is bad. Like okay, bro. Okay, buddy.
Sex. Why don't you feel guilt after you have normal sex? Let's say a husband and wife. Why don't they feel?
Wait, some people do. Oh shit. Oh shit. He doesn't realize some people actually do. Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. Okay, buddy.
Same endorphin rush. Right?
I just said they can, though. And also, I've never felt guilt after coming, because I'm very proud of myself. Wait, some do. The feeling you're describing, the post-orgasm come down, that's just a product of an endorphin imbalance. You have a height of it during the orgasm. And then wait, this is literally, wait, come on. Unless you've never come, like, you know I'm right on this.
You're ignoring what we just said. There is no guilt experienced in normal sexual intercourse.
Wait. Alright, like Kat says, post-nut guilt is a thing, but part of the problem is that you're dehydrated from fluid loss or your sodium levels are depleted. Just a glass of water by the bed and eat some cheeses. And also, yeah, stop the social stigma. The fuck? All right, let's go.
I'm
exist.
sure some people do feel
Doesn't
that way.
exist. Well, you're sure, huh?
Do you have any evidence that it doesn't?
I have evidence that no one who engages in normal sexual activity.
What is normal sexual activity?
You have that evidence? That's incredible. How do you have that evidence?
Because
do
I
you
live
like
in
a
this
pew
world.
data? Well, oh wait, do you have like a study, or is it in your head? It's like
I'll give you a chance to respond, Dr. Jones, but I
your
do
mind
want
evidence.
to mention that we've got maybe about 2 minutes before we have to transition into the Q&A.
Ah. Do we get
Oh my
closing statements
God.
before Q&A?
I'm open to changing it if you want.
I just
to
want
have
1
a
minute.
closing statement.
Yeah, I just want 1 minute.
Oh my
Okay
god.
with that?
Sure.
You bet. So we'll 1 minute each, and let's see who we started with. We started with Dr. Jones. Well, Vaush, you'll go first, and then let Dr. Jones wrap up. Or no, it would be Dr. Jones going first, and then Vaush, because we usually alternate. So
All right, come on.
that 1 minute is all yours, Dr. Jones.
Thank you. This is
Okay, so he didn't. Okay, lick this off the other people's. Like, so, James should have let Vaush go first. And it's gonna make it's just gonna, yeah, James should have let Vaush go first. But like, I guess, let's go.
this discussion would invariably end up in a position where as soon as you make a point, we move on to another type of discussion. The problem here is with the thing that we're discussing, but even with that, it's virtually impossible to talk to someone who is irrational.
Wait, how's he irrational?
About masturbation with someone who is basically bragging about how much he masturbates. You're talking to someone whose mind is darkened and can't understand
So basically, what he's saying is, if somebody doesn't have shame for masturbation, then they don't already buy into his point, then I'm not going to win the argument. That is literally saying, if you don't already in some way think like I do, then you're not going to get my point. Like, for real. That's what this motherfucker is saying. But it's cool though. All right, let's go.
rational arguments, and covers over the fact by saying how and why, as if there's some type of ultimate infinite regress that's going to answer, as if there's not some infinite regress.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing. A lot of these fucking Christian fundies, they don't want to explain the infinite regress that their motherfucking beliefs take them to. They don't. They fucking don't. They just want to say it's good because God, and leave it at that.
That will simply thwart any type of discussion. That's the main problem that I've discovered when you talk about something like pornography.
Time. Thank you very much, Dr. Jones, for that closing. And Vaush, 1 minute as well. The floor is all yours.
I guess it's just reaffirming to see that these are the kinds of arguments that you get for a topic like this, you know. Why is something bad? Because it's wrong. Why is it wrong? You know why it's wrong. No, I don't. Why? Because you know it's wrong. Because it's porn can cause rape. Well, the data shows rape is far less common now than it used to be. Well, that's what the data shows. But like, you know, it's like you want the world to be the way you want it to be. Like the world is how you want it to be, Ruth Jones. You're locked in your mind. So, I don't think anything's going to change your mind. I guess it's just funny to like chip away at the rock that's inside your skull. It is pretty interesting though. I have to imagine that tilting at windmills has left you very personally unhappy. Your brain and it's just sort of souping up there. But I would strongly suggest you reconsider your priors because the direction you're taking right now is not phenomenal, and it's quite dumb.
We're going to jump into Q&A, folks. Want to let you know each of our guests are linked in the description.
Oh,
and
God.
For your questions, I've also got to give you a heads up. We have a short 40-minute Q&A, and so as of right now, if you send in a question, I can't guarantee that we're going to read it, so just a heads up. We're going to try to move fast, but we may not get to all of them.
Oh God, this was worth it. This was worth it. This was definitely worth it. Let's go.
Wanted to ask why the Bible was brought up during the opening statement in terms of this topic. I think that's
because it provides a paradigm that transcends the current orthodoxy that establishes that or that claims that pornography is equivalent to freedom. It shows that
yes, the Bible, that book we know that always talks about freedom, says something else. If you don't follow it, is not freedom. Yeah. Okay. Let's go.
It's the exact opposite, that sexual liberation leads to bondage. That's why I brought it up.
Yes, Cat, I'm still in that. Sexual liberation leads to bondage. All right, let's go.
Gotcha. And then some of these are statements as well, Vaush. This was Anomic who says, Vaush thinks that being a slave to your desire is freedom. This is your brain on porn.
Yeah, I'll just say, if the existence of porn makes you a slave, then that's a symptom of your weakness and nothing else, you know? Like, our world is full of all sorts of things that people use and abuse, and if you fall victim to them, I really think that says more about you, you know? Like you're basically, like, you're falling to, like, the roadside, like, licking spilled Mountain Dew off of a park bench, and then you look up at me and you're like, you want to keep this,
oh, God.
You want to be a slave, and then you go back to licking up the Mountain Dew. Like, it's on you, man. Stop doing that.
Oh, God.
From Brewmaster Monk, and want to let you know, folks, we definitely want quality questions. So if it's just an insult at either speaker, we're not going to read it. We're looking for quality. Porn has never encouraged me to act virtuously and has severely damaged my ability to interact with women. It's a negative influence in our society. Vaush?
Well, I would, in the words of the immortal Jones, I would say, don't make this all about yourself. If you have a negative relationship with pornography, then I think there are plenty of things you can do to make your life better, and I think that you should. It's entirely possible for pornography to have a negative influence on you. You should work to better your life. But I don't think that's a good argument for, like, the wholesale abolition of the First Amendment.
Oh, wow.
I think you need a stronger one than that.
This one coming in from Made by Jim Bob says, porn is harmful because it chemically rewards the brain to interact with illusions. That's the difference.
But so do video games. So does watching a fucking movie. I'm playing a fucking Marvel movie. You guys are watching a YouTube video. Do they not get that it's nothing uniquely weird about porn? So does gambling. All of this shit. Interacting and spending time with somebody that you may like, but you don't have sex with, also chemically rewards the brain. It does. I just can't get that shit. Wow, okay. This is a thing. I get it. Some people are sex averse. Some of it is because of the bad experience or religiosity, but it's nothing uniquely bad about sex. If it is, you can say the same thing about food. You can say the same thing about certain physical activities. For real. Wow. But let's go.
The same with literally all forms of media. Books give you the same endorphin rewards when you sympathize with characters who have never existed outside the page. Movies will do the same thing. All of these things. People, usually moral conservatives, have long tried to fantasize about some imagined boundary that makes nudity in particular that special, extra secret kind of media that hurts you. It's just not true. It is not supported by any available evidence, but I know evidence is what you're going for here. It's just not true, okay? If you see more naked bodies in person, you'll stop freaking out about them online as much.
I think this is for you, Dr. Jones, and whether or not you actually endorse the censorship, I don't know, so you can let us know, but they say porn and censorship of porn can both be bad. Just like hate speech or cigarettes, prohibition is bad and the thing itself is also bad. Why can't both be true, Dr. Jones?
Why can't both be true? Namely, that porn is bad and censorship is bad?
I think that's exactly what they're saying.
So the more porn we have, the less censorship, right?
Oh my God.
It turns out the exact opposite happened. As soon as we had porn, we had rampant censorship on every imaginable topic under the sun. So it led to the exact opposite outcome of what we expected, what we were told to expect. So back to the First Amendment. It's got nothing to do with the First Amendment.
Yes, it does.
It was never covered by the First Amendment. It should not be covered by the First Amendment. If you allow obscenity, you will destroy the First Amendment, and that's precisely what we have seen with this.
But wait. This is the same guy that was just arguing that people are getting kicked off of fucking Twitter for expressing their beliefs. This is the same guy. Your obscene words talking about the JQ gets you kicked off? Wow. God damn. And you know what's fucking funny? And I will say this and be very, very truthful. How is it that you can literally have porn videos on Twitter, and yes, they're there, and they are still up, but these conservatives can't keep their hate in check? so much that they keep getting warned and warned and warned and warned that they get kicked off of Twitter. The problem isn't fucking censorship. The problem is y'all some hate-filled motherfuckers. Wow. It's just like, let's hear this bullshit.
Proliferation of censorship on the internet for things that should be allowed to be discussed.
This one coming in from Asu. Asu says, what role does tyrannical family courts play in forcing forefathers from loving kids or torn from loving kids by live-bash judges play in making dad into a porn viewer? Let me read that again because it is a mouthful. They said,
wait, what? Wait, what? What part do liberal fascist judges make in like in what part do liberal fascist judges play in tearing loving fathers away from kids? I'm lost with that, because in turning the guys into porn viewers, like I'm lost with that because like I'm a divorced father myself, and no fascist judge has ever torn me away from my kid. Like that's not a thing, man. Like, if you're abusive to your family, yeah, cool. But no, like, I haven't seen that, man. In reality, what they want to say is these judges have granted these women divorces from their abusive exes, and now it's a fucking issue. Like, that's what they want to say. Like, how dare they let that bitch go free? Like literally, that's what it is. And it's sad because they actually believe this shit. Like, judges tear kids away from their parents. Like, for real? For real. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, God. Let's go.
what role does tyrannical family courts play in forcing forefathers torn from loving kids by live-bash judges play in making the dad into a porn viewer?
And then, like, a lot of this is just like, let's be honest. Like, a lot of this is, it's never that they think that, you know, these loving fathers, a lot of these guys who feel this way think that they're my kids, damn it. So they just go, like, they think that it's some sort of shit where, like, it's Mrs. Doubtfire, because, like, that's the only thing that they can think of as a divorced dad. But let's be honest, Mrs. Doubtfire was some shit where, like, if you actually go and watch Mrs. Doubtfire now, you wouldn't, Robert Williams should have been in jail for that bullshit. I'm sorry. All right, let's go.
I think that one's for me. Or we'll both go, I guess. I'm assuming the person who typed that out has trouble dressing themselves in the morning, so this is just the audience. Right now, family courts don't actually seem to have a bias against fathers, which was the case historically. The main reason for that historical bias was because of the patriarchal notion that women are better at child rearing. Now, the reason more women get kids after divorces is actually because the men don't want them. There is a bias in the statistics, but it conforms to the bias in the relative parentage's interests. So I think that right now, the family courts are not in a perfect place, but I don't know what that has to do with the porn thing. But yeah, it's I don't
Robin Williams. I'm sorry, my fault.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, both the feminism, the bias in the courts, and pornography all have one thing in common. They all want to weaken the male. They want to get rid of the structure that allows men to protect their own children. That's what that's about.
Again, this is after this debate. After this, I'm gonna cut it off. We did, like, I've kept y'all for about 3 hours now. But what? Okay.
You got it. This one coming in from Do Appreciate It. Economics says, orgasm is the reward for successful mating. Can Vaush think of any reason why tricking his body into thinking he has mated every time he looks at a picture of a person could have negative consequences?
Eating meat used to be the reward for a successful hunt, and now this guy gets to drive his Walmart mobility scooter over to the freezer section. One purchase. It is a ridiculous argument. reality has moved forward.
Oh God!
It's the future, old man. Okay, sorry. An issue, sure, but again, that can happen with virtually anything.
Oh God!
Issue specific to porn. I sincerely think the reason people project their issues onto porn so much on the matter of desensitization is because, well, it's from people who don't have the best sex lives, to be honest. There are ways to deal with that, but lashing out against degeneracy is not going to help you.
Oh God!
This one coming in, do appreciate it. Mark Reed says, Dr. Jones, you mentioned, quote, people running the internet, unquote. Since the net is distributed systems, who do you imagine these people to be that are running the internet?
Oh, he got some more JQ.
I was referring to platforms like Google, not specifically to the internet, but platforms like Google and Twitter and all these other platforms that basically are operating according to a system that allows pornography, but will not allow discussions of alternative medicine for COVID, stuff like that. That is
Oh, he's an anti-vaxxer too! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh wow! Okay, okay. Okay.
a perversion of the what should be a utility for the spread of information. And I'm saying that the allowing pornography has allowed these people to make even more serious inroads into things that should not be censored.
This one coming in from Sunflower says the answer to the disingenuous and bad faith question, quote, what makes porn and non-porn different, is the same reason you have to be an adult to view porn. I think that's for you, Vaush.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously have to be is kind of a nebulous point when the internet is open to everyone. I know I wasn't 18 when I looked at porn. The reason why we don't allow young people to look at porn is because there were a lot of really complicated social, physiological, ethical, everything specific to the act of sex that we think generally should be kept from children.
Exactly.
The issue is that also applies to alcohol, and alcohol has caused far more death and destruction than pornography ever could. But for some reason, these abolitionist types never suddenly have an issue with alcohol. It's with pornography.
I don't know about that one. This motherfucker seems like he would have a problem with alcohol too. Something just. I don't know, but I just can probably think this motherfucker will have a problem with alcohol too. But let's go.
If you want to talk about things that should be like kept to people 18 or over, like I don't think that unique category suddenly makes it something that is uniquely harmful. A categorical distinction for an adult has to be made. As an adult man, I'm nearly 28 now, you know. You're looking at two things: a movie where people have their tits out, and a movie where people don't. Nowadays, a lot of movies, people will be naked. It's not even porn. You know, the line's getting blurred a bit. Like, what is the issue? And I don't know. I don't know what the issue is.
This one coming in from Researcher says, Dr. Jones, you brought up the Jewish people in this debate and any sort of anti-Semitism.
Yes, I'm against anti-Semitism.
But you keep saying it though.
The term never gets defined. And it becomes used to shut down all sorts of arguments, but in particular, it gets used to shut down any criticism of Jewish behavior.
Let's see. This one.
Yeah, he said that. Let's go.
From Mark Nannerman says, thoughts on St. Augustine's quote cited by St. Thomas in the Summa. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Say, quote, if you do away with harlots, the world will be convulsed with lust. I think that's for you, Dr. Jones, I'm guessing.
Yes. This is an argument that...
So, basically the quote is, if you get rid of the whores, then you're going to be so many people walking around that can't walk around. Yeah, sure, like, of course. But it's something wrong specifically sexually, right? Fuck out of here. Let's go.
It leads to regulation of prostitution. We're really not talking about the same thing because we're not talking about the promotion of prostitution. We're talking about the limiting of prostitution. What you have with the internet pornography is the promotion of deviant sexual behavior, which is different in this regard. Now, as to whether moderation is the best attitude toward prostitution, you can argue both ways. Germany has a very lenient attitude toward prostitution, and the result is that men get addicted to prostitutes. So
wait, no, they don't. Wait, how? Okay. this is some
I
bullshit.
don't think that's the solution. I don't think that's the solution.
Kevin Lockhart says, Vaush, rates of rape have not gone down. What study are you drawing from?
Yeah, sure. Chat linked it just a little bit earlier. I can find it again now. They absolutely have gone down. So we do have primitive data going back a few centuries. They didn't have modern sociological analysis back then, but we did have ways of pulling together pieces of data from various disparate sources. We have similar things for murder rates. This should not be surprising to anyone watching, but rape was more common in the Middle Ages. I feel like that should be intuitively understandable, but in case to anyone it is not, yeah, that's true. And then it has decreased significantly since the 1990s as well. Let me see if I can find that same... Oh yeah, here we go. So as per the Bureau of Justice Statistics, I flashed this on the screen. I don't know if people in modern day debate can see, but even just looking since 1973...
Exactly.
Internet porn, we've seen a 5-fold reduction in rapes per 1,000 people, with 2.5 per 1,000 back in 1973 to 0.5 out of 1,000 in 2003, by which point internet porn certainly existed.
And yes, if you want to actually say that, hey, some reporting may have changed, is because we actually changed the way that people would be categorized as assault. And so if you see a spike in that, then what you will see then next is like also a decession, a decretion in that, or secession in that, because hey, we kind of know what consent is, and it's people are starting to become more aware of the shit that they shouldn't be doing. Like, the fuck? Like, this is fucking crazy. Because you see titties on the screen does not make you any more of a fuck. Okay, let's go.
So, yeah, I just don't think there's a correlation here. If anything, there might be an inverse correlation. There are countries, I think, in like the post-Soviet Union that have, or you can see when internet porn becomes accessible, you know, then rates of rape go down. There's a lot of really complicated potential psychological and sociological stuff there, but I don't think it makes rape happen more often.
This one coming in from Ali Mario. I think this is meant to be a thought experiment. Dr. Jones, they say, if the purpose of sex is to procreate, does that mean rape should be fine based on your reasoning, since it can lead to the result of the woman getting pregnant?
Okay, he should absolutely say no whatsoever, no circumstance whatsoever. That should be absolutely, positively not.
No, procreation takes place within marriage. I've already said that. Because pregnancy can result, and you have a duty, if you sire a child, you have a duty to take care of that child, and that's why it should take place within marriage. So no, rape is not an example of what I'm talking about.
He just said that you can't rape somebody if they get pregnant, and if they get pregnant from a rape, then you should marry them. Wow. Fucking wow.
This one coming in from Ram Runner says, Dr. Jones, you're against pornography, want your religious beliefs to be law, and are against usury. Do you realize that you have the same ideology as ISIS? And if not, what is the difference?
I'm not against pornography because of some type of religious belief. I'm against it because it's irrational. Because it leads to control, it leads to the destruction of the social order, and all of those things have been proven now empirically. We know what it leads to. Back in the 60s when...
No, but it hasn't. Like, it hasn't. Like, it hasn't, man. Like, it... Okay, let's go.
People were talking about it as something new. Everyone had to accept that as an act of a principle or an article of faith. Now it's empirically been shown that it is completely destructive to the social order. And so if ISIS agrees with me, fine, that's great. Anyone who agrees with me, I'm happy to be agreed.
Wow. Wow. I don't care who does it for whatever reason. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow.
that empiricism could be demonstrated.
This one coming in from Bezos.
Wait a minute. Just to bring that up, every time it does get demonstrated, you simply reject it. So the guy comes in, he gives his personal testimony. You dismiss that as not existent.
Personal.
Anecdotes don't mean data. I don't care what Lauren Chin says. Anecdotes, it's not the singularity of data. Wow. Wow. If a man meets a virgin, his flesh should marry. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Testimony is not evidence of civilizational corruption. You need strong sociological data with regressive control analysis, which I brought to you with rape rates you dismissed. So if anyone, the person ignoring reality here is you.
I'll give you the last word, Dr. Jones, because the question was originally for you, and then we got to move to the next one.
Is there another question for me?
Oh, if you want to respond to Vaush, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
No, I'm not ignoring reality. You're ignoring reality. You're using these so-called studies as a way of denying the fact that these people are telling you what happened to them and what happened to them in their lives. You're using that to deny reality. All of those people got together during November. There was a widespread rejection of pornography and masturbation that went along with it, and you simply sweep that away. That didn't exist. You're saying it doesn't exist. You're the one who's denying reality. Every time you make a claim, you're denying reality.
This one coming in from Bezos' anti-bullying agency says, I think this is going to be a challenge in terms of, I don't know if it's true. They say, funny enough, Israel uses porn as a weapon against their enemies. I'm not sure if this is supposed to, who this is for, actually. If each of you want to respond, you can.
So the use of pornographic material in military and like national security purposes is something that has been used by other countries. It's most commonly tied, at least in recent history, to Islamophobia, because Muslims are perceived to be more socially conservative about pornography than Israelis or Westerners, which is generally true if you're in the Middle East. Pornography is used as a way of sort of incurring humiliation. But the general trend of that behavior, which is promoting things the enemy will find obscene to demoralize or upset them, is something that goes back literally thousands of years.
Exactly.
There were people in sieges that were catapulting, cow shit over palisades and castle walls. There have been, people who made their standard coat of arms the opposition's coat of arms with a tear through it, or with like a peasant farting into a trumpet on top. Like the fundamental idea here is very, very old. It's only now with modern speaker technology that using pornography is technologically possible. So.
You got it. And Dr. Jones, unless you, I think you maybe actually agree on that, at least in terms of Israel using.
Well, you do. So you do agree that it's used as a weapon.
Yes, a weapon of fucking shame. Okay, let's go.
Okay, so that was my point. It is a weapon, and a weapon does not bring about freedom. A weapon is between enemies, not between friends.
I can use anything as a weapon.
And secondly, to talk about cow shit and pornography in the same breath is preposterous. It's preposterous. You're grasping at straws.
You can use anything as a weapon. The purpose is to offend others, and because you have a lot in common with religious extremists in the Middle East, you and them both get offended by pornography. This would be a very ineffective weapon against me. If I heard pornography blaring on a speaker, I would only think that I had yanked out my headphones. But that's yet another way in which I'm more battle ready than you, my friend.
Yeah, if
this one coming in from Ollie Mario says, who was it that's introduced porn in Japan, and have you seen some of the stuff they make? It's far worse.
Oh God, his face!
The idea that people have purposely introduced porn, whether it be in the United States or elsewhere. I think this is for you, Dr. Jones.
Yeah, the American.
Wait, porn was in Japan! Oh my God! Did they really think the porn wasn't in Japan before America? Wow! Do they really think porn, like the hentai shit? That's just an animation of shit that they've had in Japan for centuries. Okay, buddy. Okay.
An occupation introduced pornography in Japan. The same thing they did to Germany. This was the regimen for a conquered country. I'm more familiar with the situation in Germany because I lived there and I studied it. But basically, as soon as the Morgenthau plan to starve the Germans to death was...
Wait. Why did he so anti-Semitic? He's lived in Germany. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Fuck!
Replaced by the Marshall Plan, Germany was flooded with pornography. And there was an all-out battle for the entire 1950s over obscenity laws in Germany.
So just to quickly clarify, so there are no historical inaccuracies, not only did Japan print pornography for centuries before the West ever opened their gates, they were so in demand in the West that Western aristocrats and wealthy patrons would pay lots of money to get those prints, for our entertainment. And the Weimar Republic before World War II was actually considered a socially progressive haven, particularly Berlin, where they did indeed have a thriving porn industry, though, of course, a thriving porn industry back in the 1920s would have been, like, compared to today, is like nothing, of course, because they didn't have internet video.
That's true. And the Weimar Republic led to Nazi Germany. Hitler rose to power, basically by complaining about the decadence that had been spread throughout Germany during the 1920s.
Wait, he had to add, which is bad, because my man has been just popping a JQ question all over the place. All right, let's go.
That was a reaction, and then they had the same reaction after Hitler was completely defeated. They had the same reaction. The German people reacted in exactly the same way when the United States started promoting pornography in conquered Germany.
I think, in retrospect, the Germans find the Nazi thing more regrettable than the pornography thing. Yeah, I don't think Americans promoted pornography in Germany during the occupation after the war. It just happened because people like porn. Like, you don't have to promote it.
Nothing just happened. Nothing just happened.
There are no coincidences.
A TV show, a movie, you had to get a license. You had a license from an official of the American government. So nothing just happened in Germany.
People printed pornography illicitly all the time for a long time. And what's more, if American officials allow for the production of pornography in West Germany, that's not the same as them promoting it. It's just the same allowance.
First of all, there is no evidence of what you just said. And secondly, it is exactly the situation that nothing got printed in Germany without the permission of the Americans. And if they allowed it, it meant they promoted it.
What?
Wow. It's almost as if he wanted something else to be printed in Germany after World War II. Like, the fuck? This motherfucker is a fucking Nazi. On the real. Well, he has Nazi sympathies. Like, what the fuck, man? Oh my god. Let's go.
Shouldn't they have allowed it?
Like,
just to be clear, the only reason the American government is relevant here at all is because their position on pornography is being contrasted with the Nazis. In the Weimar Republic, they did print pornography. So what you're telling me right now is that you would have sided with the Nazis, that you would have been in West Germany like a stodgy old fart, with your arms crossed, going, well, there's 6 million Jews, but at least the Nazis had the right idea about not letting people draw pictures of boobs on pieces of paper. Like the only reason the Americans introduced it is because the prior government was the Nazi government. I mean, they introduced everything.
So you admit they did introduce it. So you admit that they did introduce it.
When I put up finger quotes when I said introduce, that meant that.
So you
Wait.
Mean that I'm being sarcastic.
No.
Then they didn't introduce it. They just allowed it after the Nazis did, which before the Nazis it was also allowed.
Forward.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
JPG says, besides from sexualizing everything,
God,
the studied effects of porn on the brain, Vaush. It's worse than most drugs out there. I'm an ex-addict.
No, you're lying. If you think that the effects of porn on the brain are in any way chemically comparable to the use of drug abuse, no, you're making that up.
God.
Porn addiction can correspond to, dopamine withdrawals and
animals are innocent. Don't be
thank you.
Interest in anything else. Haven't you seen a person burn themselves out playing video games? Haven't you seen a person get really obsessively fixated with some movie fandom and then slowly lose interest with time, but not know how to replace it with something else? Haven't you seen people fall out with the sport? Like, this pattern of behavior is just a flaw in the human brain. We're just weak, The Chad move here is to overcome that weakness with self-control and discipline, not by projecting experiences onto the thing that you had the bad relationship with.
This one coming in from All C says, since Vaush's Anglo brain only responds to previous data, on porn, unquote.
I think this is the same thing. I do find it funny that the idea that I am influenced by evidence is some kind of dig at me. I thought we were supposed to be preserving the light of Western civilization here, boys. Empiricism.
God.
Yeah, I'm familiar with what you're looking at. There's been a lot of research on quote-unquote porn addiction, and I'm saying quote-unquote there because, again, it really just seems to be the same as the kind of fixations people form on other things. There might be some additional socially cultivated downsides, probably stemming from the fact that when people watch porn and they have a negative relationship from it, they feel sad because they're not the ones actually, fucking, as opposed to, being addicted to movies or video games where they might not necessarily wish that they were the ones shooting Nazis in World War II, though I do. That doesn't mean addiction is
shit.
A drug, you know. And then again, like compared to the other downsides, like just abolishing the First Amendment, taking down all pornography and media, how would you even enforce that? Just
This shit is crazy.
Like all nudity, and you'd have to ban it in other things. You turn us into China. No, I reject it. I reject this Chinese bullshit.
Coming in from 20 Upstate says, Dr. Jones thinks that people need to be sexually thirsty to force them to interact like animals. Masturbation helps you, though, to get into meaningful, thoughtful relationships. That's all it says. Dr. Jones, if you'd like to respond.
It's preposterous. You're flying in the face of reality, as Vaush does all the time here. They're simply not talking about the reality of masturbation, which leads to isolation. It doesn't lead to communion with the opposite sex. The whole point of a successful life is making some type of connection with the opposite sex. Getting married, starting a family, having children. Pornography and masturbation prevent that from happening. So therefore, it's bad.
How?
Wait, can I ask one quick question of Dr. Jones? I'm gonna do it anyway.
I do want to move on. Just to be fair, Dr. Jones did say he wanted to do a lot of questions to get the audience involved. So I do want to jump.
All right, you've overridden me, James. That's what I like about you.
This one coming in from Mr. Monster says, Dr. Jones, but do you think it's healthy to repress natural feelings and thoughts if you're going to disown masturbation and pornography?
You're not repressing natural feelings. You're repressing unnatural feelings. What? Toward a goal that will lead to an outcome in life. I'm promoting the interaction between the sexes, which is precisely what masturbation and pornography inhibit. I don't know why that's so difficult to understand. The people in this generation have failed to start families. They failed to embark upon life for two main reasons. It's pornography and student loan debt. I'm promoting out of that, which does involve, by the way, self-control. Yeah, I agree with that.
This one coming in from Bezos Anti-Bullying Agency says, acting like porn desensitization doesn't exist is outright dangerous and harmful to young society, Vaush.
I'm terribly sorry. Could you repeat that question for me?
They said acting like porn desensitization doesn't exist is outright dangerous and harmful to young society.
I think I've acknowledged that it exists plenty of times, both in the Q&A and in the conversation beforehand. I just don't think that it's a uniquely harmful force outside of the desensitization that we experience in many of other things. Yeah, it's the problem at the end of the day is we're so obsessed with narrative.
Bottom line at the end of the day,
conservative desire to resolve any urge to feel responsible for your own personal failings. Have some self-control, okay? If you have a negative relationship with pornography, you know, stand up, stop, learn to stop consuming it, work to better your own life. But instead, because you can't admit your personal weakness, you have to go in this gigantic tirade about how society is destroying you, or the Jews are destroying the West. No, it's you. You're doing this. You're having it done to yourself.
Oh, wow.
You know? And if there are issues...
in more ways than one.
Tons of different mediums, not just pornography. But if there are issues, that's your responsibility to take care of it. I've had issues with, like, video game addiction, kind of, and I pulled back on that, you know? It's a process of will. Humans are fallible. It's just a matter of working towards self-betterment, a constant, unceasing process until you die. You'll never be free of it. And if they banned porn, you know, goddamn well you'd be jerking off to every curvy piece of driftwood you saw at the beach.
Maybe you would.
I would. If they banned porn, yeah, I would.
I know. I figured that out.
We'll move into the next one.
Okay, let's go.
Pat says, Dr. Jones, have you heard of Dr. Alden's theory on how porn is harmful? I have a feeling, let's see, you maybe haven't, maybe an obscure researcher. This one coming in from
this number.
Bullying Agency says, does Vaush at least concede free porn sites should have age restrictions to prevent from using their services?
Well, you can't. The age restrictions are just you click the button saying you're 18 or over. I mean, I don't think that does anything. I think they all already have that. But yeah, like I don't think 12-year-olds should be looking at porn. So, like in concept, yes. If you're a parent, you should install like content blockers on your computer. I don't know how well those work. Like if your kid's super tech savvy, they could probably get around it or whatever. But yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
Oh god.
This one coming in from Camille Chowie says, ask why Dr. Jones accepted this debate topic and ask if Vaush will debate Nick Fuentes. So, Jones, you want to go first?
Oh yeah.
Because I think it's an important issue, and apparently there's still people out there willing to defend it, and they defend it. Or it's an important issue because most people don't understand it. As I said before, most people see this as an idea of freedom, and it's not. They fail to see the control mechanisms that are behind these ideas.
Boy, he didn't get it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh god.
On whether or not you'll debate Nick Fuentes.
It's been 2 years. I've just said email me. This is just listen. At the end of the day, like what you want is he calls me like fat, and then I say virgin, and then we both hang up. Okay. This isn't even about positions. It's literally just about like some inevitable chemical reaction you're looking for. This is like watching paint dry. It's been 2 years. Oh my god. Holy shit. Nothing has happened. Nothing ever will happen. Now he's banned from everything too. It's just boring now. Holy Christ.
This one coming in. Sorry, folks. I got to warn you. Please don't send any more questions because with the limited time of Q&A, I don't think we'll be able to get to them. I just want to let you know that up front. This one coming in from Do Appreciate Your Question. John Carter said masturbation is objectively more evil than rape.
What?
The natural law, which is more grave than a violation of justice. Let's see. I think that's intended.
Wait, what? How?
Again, like, why is it that the greatest defenders of Western civilization are the people most incapable of applying the philosophical precepts of David?
Wow.
Like, do you guys think you can just say anything? Just like, well, I think
after that one, I'm done. I'm done, guys. I'm sorry. I just can't anymore. This is crazy. Wow. I just can't. And Kimberly, thank you for following if I didn't say it before. I'm going to get my day started. I have a couple of tasks that I need to do. Even though I have the day off, I'm going to be enjoying.
If I gave myself the power